What is up, down and sideways, all you beautiful individuals? It is another FPL League Unlock here, and Mark here with you, beautiful individuals. Thanks for hanging out with us as we've got, you can call it a shadow drop, I guess. Riot, the LCK, LPL, just casually announcing that there's going to be an international tournament in between now and the World Championship, October 6th. We have the Asia International, which is barely 3 weeks away, and it's a brand new tournament. Okay.
Pretty crazy times. Yes, the shadow drop-esque type of feeling of this tournament being announced. And yes, it is very, very soon is going to be the event of it. But hey, step on up. LCK, LPL, seeds 5 through 7, LCP 4 through 5. Here we go. Get your own little event like this. You know what? I'm going to give this the way too early double thumbs up for me. Before we even see these games, I think this is going to be a massive success and certainly something that I think the community is going to find a lot of enjoyment with.
Yeah, so obviously this is a carryover of the, 2-week lull that we usually have between the end of summer and heading into the World Championship. Obviously, this is featuring only teams that will not be at the World Championship, which obviously learned from EWC and MSI. Don't want to be making the schedule any more insane. So yeah, we've already got some teams that are locked for this. BNK, BRX, we'll get to that series a little bit later also. Nongshim, I believe, will be going. And then either T1 or D plus Kiev, which again, we'll allude to. And then we have the two Vietnamese teams from the LCP, GAM and the Vikings, who have already been eliminated from their playoffs, are going to be going. And I've seen a mixed bag of NIP, EDG, and then depending on how the gauntlet goes for the LPL, will be the teams representing here. And you're going to have these 8 teams split into 2 groups of 4. You're going to have single elim best of 3s, and then the top 4 advance to a double elim bracket in best of 3s, except for the finals, which will be best of 5. So it'll be a whirlwind.
It'll be a lot of bangers, I'm sure, will be going on throughout the tournament. But I think this is a wonderful addition to the lineup of events that we do have. You know, with the inclusion of this year and First Stand coming through at the beginning, it was obviously a clear indication that there was that communication, there was that goal to set out to have more of these event type of matchups, tournaments, bring out more international competition type of things. So this fits into that type of billing, as well as it kind of covers that conversation that's been there since, you know, the LCK and LPL have been able to have a 4th seed for the World Championship, has been about, you know what? These regions are incredibly deep. I'm sure 5 through 7 are very competitive teams that maybe could be a world contender type of thing. Now you get to showcase that against the other teams that also are that so close, runner-up type of situation to being a world contender from these regions. And I actually also think that the inclusion of the LCP, what an additional boon and recognition for that region, that they, hey, you know what? We're including you into something like this, and you are of this caliber, of this type of tier, where, you know what? We can pluck a team or 2 out of here and throw them up against us.
And you might say, well, who's really going to care about this event before Worlds? Are these teams even really going to care? But there is over $200,000 US on the line in this tournament. I think the winner gets around $84K, so just under half of that total prize money. So I think the teams are going to be fielding the best rosters that they possibly can for this. They're not just going to send in the challenger squad. And I believe rumors are that this will actually not be LAN. It's going to be all online for this whole event. Going to be streamed on Hoya and Billy. Probably not on Twitch. Maybe it'll be on YouTube as well. It's got to be, otherwise it's going to be hard for us to find it over here. But that's obviously an interesting little angle. And really, after all this, you're left going, okay, where's the LTA one? Where's the LEC one for something like this?
I think that it could be coming, could be in development, would be something I would leave the door open to as a possibility. At the end of the day, I think it is also one of those things where the region needs to prove itself maybe a little
you want
bit
more
more
Dignitas games, everybody?
Yeah, that's kind of the other angle here, is that, yes, this exists, but it exists because of the state, because of the depth of those regions. don't know if you would necessarily be wanting to go to bat for the LTA, for the LEC, and those similar type of constraints.
It's obviously still just going to be fun to have another event like this that has some type of high stakes. Is there, I've seen some people say maybe this is a slight angle because of the suddenness. This has probably been in the works for a long time, but T1 drops the losers bracket and all of a sudden we have a whole tournament for teams that don't make worlds. Is this insurance policy to get some T1 viewership?
I'm not buying the conspiracy theory there for that one, but I think at the end of the day, it's absolutely something that did cross the minds of the organizers, of people that are going about this, not necessarily immediately focusing for this year, but creating an opportunity where, you know what, hey, if one of these big squads with big hopes and with international attention does miss out on one of these events, you do get at least the little bonus, the little extra type of side serving of that. So that could be an angle there, but I ain't buying into the conspiracy cookie about that one with T1.
And now, as of today, T1 has this high stakes matchup. It was D plus versus BNK, who we alluded to. BNK is going to be going to this Asia Invitational International, and well, it was a messy day. It was a classic Rise Group gaming for D plus Kia, and somehow I think the biggest thing you're sweating as T1 for being the next opponent for D plus is seeing them win a game with Vigar and Ziggs.
It's a double alarms going off for T1 because not only is it the one that you've been kind of getting annoyed at, getting a bit of a headache in your head, hearing that alarm keep sounding off. It's just one or two pitches off of what would be a satisfying or okay sound. It really is graining into you. Is the Ziggs pick, of course, that we have seen be a thorn in their side, and outside of when they seem to have conquered it for one of their world championship runs, continues to be that thorn in their side as far as how to handle it within an opposing composition. You add in the Vigar, first Vigar in the LCK in over 450 plus days coming on through from Showmaker, and the way that they piloted this double Yordle composition was a true nightmare to behold, and certainly one that is going to be on the minds of T1 heading into their series.
And much like I feel like Docdom against Gen G, the Ziggs pick is a great way to kind of hide that bot lane matchup. And truthfully, it was another series where aiming and barrel looked a little bit suspect. They just got lucky on the day that it was maybe the most underwhelming Diablo performance that we've had in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think that one is certainly one of the ways that you can digest this series, is understanding that, you know what, there is some advantages taken from those compositions for aiming and barrel with the fluctuation of their performance, of their contributions for the side of D+. And it was a bit of a letdown, bit of a disappointing day for Diablo in the series. Certainly one where you want to improve upon, want to take some lessons, and certainly find a way to level yourself up. Because again, part of it due to the stress of the role that he is playing within a team and the caliber of team of BNK, but still as well just, as part of nature for the role with ADCs, that pressure, that power that needs to be there for your team wasn't there from him on the day.
And now this sets up, you're either locking that final world spot for the LCK in their next matchup, or you're going to be the favorites probably for this new ASI tournament. That's what's on the line now with this D plus T1 matchup. And if we're putting on the prophesizing role here, I don't see the upset. I don't see the choke for T1. I feel like they, especially with how close the last series between these two was, I think T1's going to be angry hearing all the noise about them, and I'm looking at a swift 3-0.
I'm saying that it's going to either be that swift 3-0, or we got problems, and it's going to be T1 being the ceremonious, number one squad heading to the new international.
Then I'm really buying into the conspiracy, and I think T1's in on it.
But I'm telling you, it's going to have to be that dominant force of T1 where they show that there has been that improvement, that reset, refocus from this last series in comparison to what we got from D plus Kia, or it's going to be that extended series where T1 isn't at that complete cohesion, at that ultimate form that we know that they can reach, and that lets in the power of D plus Kia, some of the individual players able to be difference makers, as well as, more so for me, the drafting advantages that you might be able to be carving out, the Ziggs, that Vygar that we just talked about. Heck, let's even go to some more dark technology, that Zoe pick for your boy Showmaker. That's the real nasty one out of all these ones that I think could be, again, an X Factor style pick coming on through and changing the course of a series.
Especially, we've already seen BDD take over a game with it, which makes me think we're entering that Zoe 10,000 years of Riot game design meta, which people will be excited for initially and quickly absolutely loathe her in that mid lane, as we've seen time and time again, year in, year out, since she was ever released. But that is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you. Absolutely stunning individuals. Thanks so much for hanging out. You know we'll catch you on that flippity flip.